Hi everyone, this is Hiba from My Little Journal, and today I'm really excited to start working on my Thankful 30. So I'm going to be using Heidi Swapp's Storyline Chapters mini notebook. So we're going to start with prompt number 1, which was to document something about yourself that you're grateful for. And I added my journaling, I typed out my journaling, all that good stuff. I'm keeping my notebook cohesive. Everything's going to sit horizontally throughout my project. And I find it to be easier to finish your project when you keep things cohesive. I'm also using this date stamp from Carrie Bradford. I used it last year and loved it. So I'm going to use it again this year. And I want to give you a little tip. If you are stamping a date, stamp it ahead of time, trim them out, and have them on the side. That way you're not stopping every 5 minutes to stamp out the dates, if that makes sense. And it worked perfectly for me last year, so I'm doing it again this year. I will stamp 1 through 4. Obviously, you can stamp the whole month if you wanted to, but because I am working 4 days at a time, I thought it made sense to just stamp them out while I'm working on it, if that makes sense. Anyways, I did stamp the year, the smaller stamp. There was a large one that said 2021 and a smaller one. This time around, I used the smaller one, but I didn't like that it wasn't tall enough. You'll see what I mean once I add it to my spread. So next time around, I will use the larger 2021. That way it's longer and it kind of fits better with my photo and journaling card. So anyway, at this point, I'm going to trim these out, set them aside, and start sticking down all the things. So I also wanted to mention for my journaling card, last year I printed my journaling directly on my cards. This time around, I did not do that. I don't know why. I think I totally forgot about it. And I printed it on just printer paper, but I don't like the look of that. I feel like I should have just printed it on my cards directly. It's okay. I will fix it for the next few days and kind of print on my cards directly when I start working in this project. But anyways, at this point, I just added a little stamping to my journaling card. And now I can stick everything down and start decorating my spread. I'm keeping this simple and I'm using the same collection throughout the project. And this collection is the Peaceful Heart from Jen Hedfield, I think. And I want to stamp my title as well. So I'm going to use that collection. I'm going to stamp my titles the top corner right above my photo. That way everything is cohesive. We'll change it up as I go. But if you have the same size photo, card, date, and using the same collection throughout your project, things will come together quick and it will be simple and you'll finish your project in time. At this point, I'm going to start adding my embellishments. I will come back to the spread because when I get to day 3, I used some pattern paper from that collection and it looked amazing behind my photos. I tucked it behind my photos in my journaling card. And I just thought, you know what, I should do that for the rest of the spread. So I go back to day 1 and 2 and add a little bit more stamping and paper to those spreads. I will also use a lot of washi. So I'm going to grab my washi and use it to add some depth and texture to my spread. This is a great project to use up some of your washi tape, which I totally need to do because I have a lot of washi and don't use it as often as I should. But I do end up adding washi to my journaling card and in the corner of my photo or my spread, and then call this spread done. But again, I will come back to it and add a little bit more. So let's move on to prompt number 2. Prompt number 2 was to document something about yourself physically. And I'm going to be documenting my hair. Growing up, I hated my hair. It was so flat, straight, no volume. But as I aged, I found it to be so easy to deal with. I don't have to buy all the products and use all the products. I basically just blow dry my hair dry and I'm good to go and I don't have to worry about it. Maybe it's not the prettiest hairstyle, but you know what? I can get ready pretty quickly in the morning and I love that about my hair. So at this point, I added my photo, my date stamp, my journaling, and I want to use the stamp set from Close to My Heart to stamp out a few of those leaves, and I will fill them out with different ink colors just to bring in some color and help me create little clusters around my photos and my journaling card. I always recommend this. If you don't have embellishments, use your stamps for that. You don't have to have all the embellishments to create a project or a spread. Definitely use your stamps, trim them out. They are the perfect product to create your own embellishments. Anyways, as you can see, I'm using different ink pads. I'm going to trim these out and use them to create little clusters around my spread. So that same stamp set from Close to My Heart had a stamp that said thankful, and I'm going to use it to stamp underneath my photo next to my cluster. It's going to help my spread balance out a little bit. Just because I used those leaves and they're colorful, I like to balance it out with black ink. And once I stick down my leaves, I'm going to grab the Peaceful Heart collection and use some stickers and die cuts to add a little something to my journaling card. Now you're going to see me go back and forth between stamping and my embellishments because I literally just started my project. I really don't know how I want it to look. I kind of have an idea on how I want it to look, but I'm not 100% sure. And this is what I meant when I said I get to day 3 and I go back to day 2 and 1 and add a little bit more. It's just because I'm still learning, I'm still getting the hang of things. So don't feel like you have to get it right on your first spread. But anyways, I grabbed that alpha stamp from Feed Your Craft and stamped hair in the top corner. And then I'm gonna grab some washi tape and some word stickers as well and add a little bit more to my cluster and my spread. While I was looking through my word stickers, I found this one. I think it said good life, but I removed life. And now my title says good hair because I think now I have good hair. But anyways, I'm just going to add a few more leaves to my clusters and we're going to move on to day 3. So day 3 was to document, I think it was a friend, your best friend or significant other. And every year I try to use this prompt to document a good friend of mine. And this year I'm documenting my amazing friend, Elise. I love her to death. And I just couldn't just print out a photo of her. I created a little collage of her beautiful face and I'm going to be documenting her for my best friend. Anyways, I went ahead, added my cards, my photo, my date stamp, and I'm going to use pattern paper. This is the day where I decide, ooh, I should go back to day 2 and 1 and add a little bit more because I love how day 3 turned out. I use the pattern paper, I trim it down into strips, and I'm going to use it to add a little bit of color to my photo and my journaling card. This is a great way to use your pattern paper. Use it kind of like washi tape. So I end up adding a little bit underneath my photo. I move them around a little bit. I first started adding it to the top of my photo, but I'm going to move it to the bottom. And then I'm going to move that other strip to the top of my journaling card. Stick everything down and then use my stamps to add a little something to my photo and my journaling card. I'm almost done sticking down my journaling card, my photo, and my date stamp. And now I can add my title. So I'm going to use the same Feed Your Craft stamp set to stamp friend. And to make my title more interesting, I'm going to stamp all the fields right above friend. And it just adds a little something to my title and my spread. So I also wanted to use the same collection, the Peaceful Heart collection, to add my embellishments. Because I used the paper pad from that collection, everything I end up using is going to match perfectly with my pattern paper and my spread, if that makes sense. So when I grabbed that embellishment pack, the first one I saw, it said Hello Friend, and it was like a little cluster or layered die cut. So it worked perfectly underneath my journaling card. And again, because I'm using the same collection, everything is going to match. I will also grab my pattern play stamp to add some plus signs around my clusters and my card and my photo. This is my aha moment. When I used my pattern play stamp from Feed Your Craft to add the plus signs, I thought to myself, ooh, I should use this stamp to add a little something to day 2 and 1. And I have that spots, I think it's called spots stamp from Feed Your Craft as well. And I'm going to use that as well. It's just they're the perfect 2 stamps to add a little something to your clusters and your spreads. So that's literally what I'm going to do. I'm also going to stamp thank you. I stamped it directly on my card. I'm going to grab some of these stickers from the Peaceful Heart to add some flowers around my photo and some flowers around my journaling card as well. And I even add a few to my title. I love how these are coming together so quickly because I'm using the same collection and the same format. So it's just coming together so fast and quick. I don't feel like I'm overwhelmed. I want to stamp so grateful, loving this underneath my photo and my cluster. It just brings in some black ink to that space. I just felt like it needed some black ink there. This is where I go back to day 2 and 1. I end up using a sticker sheet from Close to My Heart to add a little something above my photo. I will also grab the Feed Your Craft stamp set to add some spots to my spread. And I go back to day 1 and use some of that pattern paper to add a little something to my photo. Now, this is literally the strip at the top of my paper pad, and I didn't want to waste it. It was a nice subtle white and black, or it's kind of a cream and black, and I trimmed it down to use that to add some texture and depth to my spread. So this is what I mean. Just go with the flow. You'll get the hang of it. And I love how these turned out. Just going back and grabbing that spots stamp set and adding a few spots here and there to day 2 and 1 really made me happy. And now I know when I'm creating day 4, I should use those stamp sets from Feed Your Craft to add a little bit of something to my spreads. I thought I was done with day 1, 2, and 3, but right when I was gonna move on to day 4, I decided I'm gonna grab my Crayola marker and fill out my titles. That little change made a huge difference, just adding color to my title. And again, this is what I mean when I say, just work in your project and things will come to you as you are creating. And I love that idea, and I think I'm going to do that throughout the whole month. But now I can move on to day 4, and I'm documenting, or prompt number 4 is document your children or your pet, but I'm going to document all of them because I love them all. And I created a little collage of all 3 of them. And as always, I'm going to add my journaling card and my date stamp. We'll go through my Peaceful Heart die cut pack, and I'm trying to find something to add to my title and to help me kind of create my clusters. And while I was going through the die cuts, I found this clipboard, and it was so cute. And I thought maybe I can use it for my date stamp. Again, I don't have to stick to one idea. I can always add and grow as I go. and I thought that clipboard was perfect for my date stamp, so I'm going to use it for that. I stick down my photo. I'm going to grab that clipboard and the date stamp, and I'm going to cut a little slit right underneath the clip of the clipboard. That way I can slide my date stamp underneath it, and it's going to look like the clip is holding my date stamp, if that makes sense. I wish the die cut pack came with more of these clipboards, but there's only one, and it's okay, and that's fine with me. You know, I can change it up as I go, and I can keep it as simple as I want as well. But anyways, I just used my craft knife for this. I'm going to slide my date stamp underneath my clip and stick that down right in between my photo and journaling card. At this point, I'm going to grab my alpha stamp and stamp love right above my photo. And in those die cuts that I set aside, there was a rainbow die cut that was so adorable, and it had multiple colors. So I thought this is probably the perfect little die cut to build the colors on my spread off of. So I'm going to use that rainbow to add right next to my title. And then I'm going to trim down one of my Feed Your Craft 4x6 cards. It had strips of color, beautiful colors, and they matched perfectly with my rainbow. So I'm gonna trim down and use the peachy color and add that underneath my photo. It brings in the colors from the rainbow, and it's a great little base for my cluster. I also thought I would use that butterfly, but I have such a hard time using butterflies, you guys. I can never use butterflies. It's so hard for me. So I end up grabbing some word stickers instead. I'll add some washi tape in black. I felt like that rainbow was very colorful, and I needed to balance it out a little bit with some black washi. So I end up adding some washi around my journaling card and my photo. I'll go back to my die cuts and add a few around my journaling card and around my photo again. And I think I grabbed the pattern play stamp set to add some plus signs, but this time around in gray. I felt like maybe if I went with black, it's going to be too aggressive. So I end up going with some gray. I love how it turns out, and I can call day 1, 2, 3, and 4 done in my Thankful 30. I love this project, you guys. I wait for it every year. I hope you are going to be documenting what you are thankful for throughout the month of November. And if you are, don't forget to tag me. I love seeing your projects as well. Anyways, you guys, don't forget, I will be adding all the links for everything I use down in the description box for you. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. And if you did, please give me a thumbs up. And if you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing. And I hope to see you guys very soon. Bye.